Welcome back, Commanders. Today we are diving deep into the high-stakes world of Warpath's naval warfare. We all know the struggle. The pool of naval officers in this game is extremely limited. But that doesn't mean you can't dominate the seas. In this video, I'm going to show you the ultimate officer synergies for your submarines and anti-submarine units. We're going to push these few available officers to their absolute limits to see exactly what they can do on the battlefield. If you want to maximize your fleet's potential and stop losing those naval battles, you're in the right place. Let's set sail. Commanders, today we are taking a deep dive into the versatile field officer, Rip Current. Let's break down his maximum level skills and see what makes him a powerhouse on the battlefield. First up is his tactical skill, Tide Piercer, which operates on an 8-second preparation time. When fully awakened through the double current skill, this attack deals a massive skill damage coefficient of 2,200 to an enemy. But that is not all. It also shreds the target's defenses by reducing their damage resist by 20% for 8 seconds. Crucially, if the target is hiding behind an active shield, Tide Piercer punishes them with an additional strike, dealing extra skill damage with a coefficient of 550. Next, we look at his offensive passive, Breaker Tides. At level 5, this skill provides a highly aggressive baseline by increasing the damage intensity of Rip Current's troop by 25%. Synergizing perfectly with his tactical skill, Breaker Tides grants an extra 10% damage intensity, specifically when attacking enemies that have an active shield. For survivability, Rip Current relies on his protection passive, Saint-Malo Spirit. Maxed out at level 5, this skill significantly bolsters your defenses by increasing the troop's normal attack resilience by a massive 50%. This ensures he can stay in the fight longer while trading blows. Finally, his balanced passive skill, Maritime Fortitude, rounds out his lethal kit. At level 5, it delivers a massive 40% boost to the troops' firepower, alongside a 10% increase to their overall HP. In summary, Rip Current is the ultimate anti-shield specialist. His entire kit is built around high damage intensity, breaking down enemy defenses, and severely punishing any troop that relies on shields to survive. Pair him with a high firepower unit, and watch the enemy lines crumble. Moving on to our second officer, the formidable Dame Sombra. She is a garrison and aircraft carrier specialist who excels at long-range devastation and base defense. However, given the extreme shortage of naval officers in the game, we've found that she actually outperforms most of the available options. Let's examine her maxed out skills, starting with her tactical skill, Blueborn Strike. On an 8-second preparation time, she delivers a heavy blow with a damage coefficient of 1,800. However, her true power shines when commanding an aircraft carrier troop, which boosts this skill's damage coefficient by an additional 25%. Next is her protection passive, Steel Armada. At level 5, this significantly reinforces your forces by increasing the HP of her troop by 40%. Furthermore, it provides an extra 10% HP boost specifically to her carrier-based aircraft. When it comes to holding the line, her offense passive defensive surge is absolutely incredible. If Dame Sombra's troop is garrisoned in your base, this skill grants a massive 32% increase to damage intensity. Her balanced passive, Battle Hardened, ensures she remains a consistent threat in any scenario. It provides a solid foundation by increasing both the damage intensity and damage resist of her troop by 10%. Finally, we have her awakening skill, Carrier's Edge, which transforms her into a long-range sniper. This new passive allows attacks from her aircraft carrier troop to gain an extra 4% damage intensity for every single map grid between itself and the target. In conclusion, Dame Sombra is an absolute terror when stationed in your base or attacking from afar. By maximizing the distance between her carrier and the enemy, you can leverage her awakening skill to deal unprecedented damage while her defensive buffs keep her fleet untouchable. Commanders, let's talk about the master of underwater lethality, La Sirena. This field officer is a force to be reckoned with, designed to turn the tide of battle with precise critical damage. Her tactical skill, Siren's Requiem, is a nightmare for enemy ships. At level 5, it launches a triple torpedo strike, dealing damage with a coefficient of 600 per hit. If she's acting as the aide, this coefficient gets an additional 25% boost, making her an essential asset for burst damage. For her passive utility, Phantom Navigation provides excellent support by increasing your troops' normal attack boost and normal attack resilience, both by 25% at max level, ensuring she remains effective in extended engagements. She further amplifies her lethality with Abyssal Echo. Maxed out, this skill gives your troop a massive 30% firepower boost and significantly increases the critical strike chance for all officer skills by 15%. To ensure her impact is felt, her defensive utility, Deep Strike Breach, is crucial. Every time your troop attacks, it reduces the target's damage resist by 10% for 4 seconds, while simultaneously increasing your own troop's damage resist by 10%. Finally, her unique new skill, Pressing Current, pushes her critical capabilities to the limit. Whenever your troop lands a critical strike with an officer skill, it boosts your skill, critical damage by 20% for 3 seconds, an effect that can stack up to 6 times. La Sirena is all about momentum. Keep her on the front lines, stack those criticals, and watch your enemies sink before they even know what hit them. Commanders, let's break down the powerhouse known as Tidewatcher. This officer is built for absolute dominance on the high seas, combining devastating airstrikes with impressive defensive utility. His tactical skill, Daring Stand, is a primary offensive weapon. At level 5, it calls in an airstrike dealing damage with a massive 1,800 coefficient, and adds an extra 450 coefficient if the target is above 50% HP. Tidewatcher's sustain is equally remarkable. Through Ocean Fortress, he boosts his troops' firepower by 20% and their HP by 20%. Furthermore, his skill, Final Defense, significantly enhances the officer skill boost by 30%. Defensively, he keeps your fleet protected with Counter Salvo, which provides a solid 25% boost to missile defense. But what really makes him dangerous is his new skill, Wavebreaker. Whenever your troop kills an enemy unit, there is a 30% chance to shorten skill preparation time by 1 second, triggering once every 8 seconds. Tidewatcher is the ultimate frontline commander. With his ability to maintain high HP while cycling through rapid-fire airstrikes, he ensures that the enemy fleet is dismantled before they can even recover. Stay tactical, commanders!
Set depth for surface target engagement. That was a real hassle. That was a real hassle. Pay attention to submerged activities. That was a real hassle. Pay attention to submerged activities. We should have taken the first missile. Set depth for surface target engagement. Finally some actions, yay.
Troops are ready.
Reload all two. Set depth for surface target engagement. Engine damage. Unable to dive deeper. Approaching crush depth. Clear the way. Move it out.
Our garrison will defend us.
Time to put our skills to the test.
Touchdown. 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 Clear the way. Moving out. Fire on my mark.
Time to put our skills to the
Our
test.
garrison